Hello, and welcome once again to the accidentally named Free Thought Blog's Podish-Sortacast, where people who are used to writing instead try to talk live on camera. Today we're running a little quiz in honor of the one and only holiday recognized by the beloved local ruling classes, the most capitalist time of the year, Christmas. QI rules apply, which means the questions are hard and weird and you're not expected to know the answer, just to throw in something funny, nonsensical, or interesting when you don't. Beware, if you make a joke or a simple guess that we predicted in advance, you'll be punished by this klaxon. Today, we have H.J. Hornbeck from Reprobate Spreadsheet, the Great American Satan from their eponymous blog, P.Z. Myers from Faringula, and I'm Abby St. Brendan from Impossible Me. Does anybody want to say hello before we begin?
I refuse.
Well done.
You forgot to mention Charlie.
That's right. Charlie is here too.
We've also got Charlie the monitoring robot, who is owned by H.J. Hornbeck, and I have carefully not inquired further into the details of that relationship.
That is wise.
Yeah, I'm in the house, as it were. Greetings.
Yeah, that's right.
Everybody say Hail Satan. That's the traditional way.
Hail Satan.
Hail Satan. All right.
All right.
Traditions.
And
So
thus I am
speaking of red-suited mythical creatures, let's begin. Who is Kris Kringle?
Does he come in those little long cans that you have to sort of pop the top off on in order to get at them, or
That's
something?
Kris Kringle, I'd say, but it could be. I mean, I've never really considered. Certainly, it'd be a lot easier for those to get down the chimney. You just sort of dump them out.
Oh,
Not,
yeah.
not,
I
not
was going to say
Goku
something similar. He's obviously a corporate sponsor of some sort. Probably baked goods or something.
I mean, the what's the question mean? I'd imagine you're just like, what's the identity of the person? What inspired the modern red-suited dude? Which, I mean, like, that's pretty well known. But Kris Kringle, if that's more if it is more narrowly, where'd that Kris thing come from?
Who actually is it? Like that name was attached to somebody. Who is it?
That name
and I don't mean like a
attached-
celebrity or something. I mean a legendary figure.
Okay, Kris Kringle. I would say that would be kind of a local cryptid for Ontario. Like kind of like Paul Bunyan. He's distributed cookies with extreme velocity, embedding them in the throats of naughty children around the time of year and all that.
Fun how everybody has decided to interpret that last name as Keebler. It's fun, actually. The name is actually, like so many things in Western traditions, a mispronunciation of a German word, and it is a major Christmas figure, just not Santa. The German word is Christkindl, a diminutive of Christkind, which literally means Christ child. Martin Luther introduced the concept, which is the representation of Jesus Christ as a baby, specifically to combat the popularity of St. Nicholas. Apparently it backfired and Santa stole Jesus's nickname.
So Jesus is actually involved with this Christmas thing somehow?
Yeah, something involving very bad hygiene and medical situations. I'm not sure.
Yo, I know about this. Because my boyfriend did German in high school, and they made him sing all the Christmas songs and stuff. So there's this one where the baby Jesus is like floating outside your window like Jacob's ladder, talking about how the winter's cold and you should let him in and stuff. And he's the actual present distributor. But Saint Nicholas wasn't cut out of the picture. He like puts candy in your shoe like a couple of weeks before that, if I remember correctly.
Okay, so it's like
I thought about
movie,
2/3.
Let Me In.
Yeah, let the right one in. That sounded like about 2/3 of that was let the right one in, but I let the right one in, and it's Jesus. That's interesting. What did Santa Claus do when he met a man that told him about the birth of Jesus?
Give him candy? I mean, it would seem to be the charitable thing to do, This being that time.
Nope,
Oh.
didn't give him a gift.
Oh.
Ouch! Ooh, painful.
He cursed him because if he hadn't known about Jesus, there would be a chance he could go to heaven.
Interesting.
Oh, so I
You're
guess
partly
we're
right.
we're getting
Oh.
some deep cuts here because I didn't really know anything about Saint Nicholas, but I do know some various saints were pagans before they became saints, and they were converted at some point in their life. So apparently, we're just by the phrasing of this question, we're finding out that about Saint Nicholas himself. I would say,
Actually, I want to say that's interesting. No, but it is about Saint Nicholas, who wasn't a pagan god before being
oh,
canonized as a saint.
not pagan god, like just a heathen, like just like a non-Christian.
Wasn't a heathen.
Wasn't.
Nope. In
I
fact,
was actually a
this is
Christian.
specifically about Saint Nicholas.
Saint Nicholas is actually a Christian before he heard somebody tell him about Jesus. Sounds like a catch-22. Okay, let's say
Well, before someone told him about the birth of Jesus.
Okay, I'm completely on the backwards now. Oh, I pass. I surrender.
Does that mean I win by default?
No. Although there was fun. It was actually really interesting. This is about the Arian heresy. The answer is slapped him across the face. The real Santa Claus, Nicolaus of Myra, was one of the bishop attendees at the First Council of Nicaea in 325 of the Common Era, where the preacher Arius was declared a heretic and exiled for his teachings. His heresy was claiming that God the Father was truly eternal, whereas the Son was created by the Father and had a beginning in time, which contradicted the official teaching that both were timeless. Per the hagiography of St. Nicholas, this debate got so heated that at one point Nicolaus actually struck Arius for telling him Jesus was born.
Oh.
One of the other legends I read associated with that was made it even better. Apparently, in response to this terrible insult of the slapping, an associate of Arius's retaliated by peeing on St. Nicholas.
Oh, wow. I
Which
didn't realize.
absolutely has nothing to do with the modern tradition of golden garlands on the tree, but I wish it did.
Yes, it's now the modern tradition of you should pee on every Athanasian you meet.
Okay, I didn't realize Christmas was that saucy. I thought Saturnalia was, ranchy enough, but whew. Let's give it a run.
Well, that thought for a bit. Because, well, I don't know. That's just it. The modern traditions regarding Christmas are not that old, mostly. But the traditions regarding the saints who got made into part of Christmas are really old. And St. Nicholas, definitely spicy. Which brings me to the question, where would you have to go to find Santa's balls? And remember,
Okay.
all of my questions have real answers, and I think they're interesting. But they're actually answers for this.
I had a friend who, I don't know how dubious this is, claimed that some of her ancestors were involved in trying to steal Saint Nicholas's bones. I don't remember how the rest of that story went, but ostensibly there was something about the locate their final resting place involved. But I did not hear anything about the balls while I was hearing about the bones.
Are they pickled in a reliquary of some sort? Would I have to go to Turkey to see them?
No, although well done on knowing where St. Nicholas was from.
When I was a kid, we'd look at through all the library books at our school that had anything at all racy in them, and one of them was the book of lists, and it had like a book of like, it had various lists that sometimes had slightly raunchy content in it for a junior high kid. And I remember that I think Napoleon's penis was in a pickle jar in a reliquary somewhere, to PZ's point, but I don't remember St. Nicholas's organs of various types were on that list.
Let me help you out a little. I don't mean testicles.
What? Okay, now I'm disappointed.
Yeah, that's so sad.
Did he have like balls that would, like, if you assembled 7 of them, would grant you like ultimate power, like in
That I was gonna go where you put like 15 of them down in a lane and then throw something at them, but that's like reverse bowling. Instead of pins, you use balls and then you throw pins at the balls, and
sort of like elf bowling, which inexplicably somebody made a movie out of.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I watched a review of it a little while ago. It's amazingly bad.
Fair enough.
Nope. Okay.
Yeah, I give up.
The answer is generally the bad part of town, specifically to a pawn shop. The most famous story about St. Nicholas, and the one that eventually led to him being the prototype for Santa Claus, regards a poor man with 3 daughters who wanted to get married, but they had no dowry for them. St. Nicholas secretly dropped 3 bags of gold into the house. Some versions say down the chimney. And this story is alluded to by an emblem that often appears in icons of Nicholas: 3 golden balls. The traditional 3 gold ball symbol of pawn shops most probably originated from a similar symbol on the family crest of the House of Lombard. But one origin of that symbol and another possible source of the emblem is St. Nicholas's balls. He is, in fact, the patron saint of pawnbrokers.
And apparently triple balled.
Yeah, did he have 3 balls is the next question.
My research was silent on that topic, for which I am grateful.
Yes.
Fair enough.
What modern famous horror story plot did St. Nicholas put a stop to?
Oh, I know this one. This is the one involving the Martians, right? The Martians coming to Earth and invading?
I saw that movie. Yeah.
That was such a weird movie. Fantastic movie. I don't mean that movie.
It's always on the tops of those lists. The very worst of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of subjective, but there it is. Santa Claus conquers the Martians, right?
Yeah, that's the one.
Although I did recently learn of a new one, which seems quite relevant. Santa Claus versus Satan.
I've seen the one where Santa Claus was Satan.
No, this one is a different one. It's much more antagonistic.
I swear I had no involvement.
Satan denies all. Well, I mean, that's fair. So many people deny Satan. It's only fair that Satan denies some things himself.
Now, wait, could you repeat the question? So,
what modern famous horror story plot did St. Nicholas put a stop to? And what I'm after here is there's a modern, or at least a modern telling of a horror story. And the same thing that happened in that happened in one of the stories about the canonization of St. Nicholas.
Was it a possession?
No.
Was it in the torture porn genre?
No.
Hmm.
No, it wasn't Saw.
Dang it.
St. Nicholas was the first one to kill Jason, and he just kept coming back afterwards.
Not Friday the 13th.
Okay.
I got nothing.
HJ looked like he had something he wanted to say, but didn't dare. Go on, dare.
Oh no, you ruled out Saw, so that was, my one trick pony right there. I guess the other thing would be The Purge, but yeah.
I mean, I feel like I should have predicted that one, but no. Sweeney
Purge
Todd.
Oh.
Oh.
Though the version involving Nicolaus of Myra was a long ago in a country far, far away compared to the demon barber of Fleet Street, one of his miracles of legend involved stopping the cannibalistic plans of an evil butcher during a famine. Early versions have the dastard intending to cure the flesh of 3 children to sell as ham, but in a later version of the tale, the butcher had murdered 3 adult men and was advised by his wife to make them into meat pies. In every version, St. Nicholas is credited with stopping this by resurrecting the would-be victims.
Oh, resurrecting them.
Ooh,
yeah,
fancy.
Well, one of those things that saints always did back when they were proper saints, before the modern age where they could just sort of click their teeth sadly and watch people die instead, the Saint Teresa way.
So this was before they got turned into pies, right?
Yes, it was before the eating and after the killing.
Right. Okay, so it wasn't just saints that had this sort of power in the old European stories. Of course, there's if I'm remembering this right, in Bluebeard, there was the girl who discovers all the previous wives of her husband in a state of disassemblage, like slapped them back together and they went on their merry way. I don't know, like, it's kind of funny to imagine that at some point in time people could more easily imagine that any given person with the right skills could resurrect somebody from a state of being drawn and quartered.
Hey, if Dr. Frankenstein could do it.
Now I'm wondering if Liam Neeson can, a guy with a certain set of skills.
And a little needle full of glowing green stuff. It's funny, as an aside, I was thinking about that the other day. It's that whole thing where they say that, let's see, intelligence is knowing that Frankenstein was the doctor, not the monster. Wisdom is knowing that Frankenstein was the monster, but the monster was his son. Wouldn't he also have the last name Frankenstein? So it's both of them, right? Wouldn't his actual name be Adam Frankenstein?
I think we need to assemble a council of Nicaea to make that determination.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And maybe he wasn't legally adopted, so it doesn't count.
Well, that's the wrong holiday anyway. So moving on, in 1997, the Seinfeld episode The Strike introduced the world to the secular and rather weird celebration called Festivus. To the nearest 5 years, how long after the episode aired did people start celebrating Festivus in the real world?
I would say -2.
-2.
Less than 5. I mean, it's like, weren't people doing it the year after?
Not 0 to the nearest 5.
Yeah, well, I guess that leaves 5, unless there was like a.
Well, then
HJ
sadly,
was headed in the right direction there.
I must sadly amend it to be -5 then, since we're going in increments of 5. So yeah.
Nope.
I didn't promise I was right.
Not -5. But you'll notice a lack of klaxon.
Indeed.
Would you like to continue?
Well, I mean, I could just sit here counting numbers and all that, but I don't think it makes for entertaining watching. Although I guess
that's fair enough.
Although it does prolong you watching the subtle little bit of cat actually just over there, which is barely on screen. It's more of a mythical cat than a real cat at this point.
There's a real cat.
It's there.
On screen.
Oh, I see that. I see that. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Barely over to the side there.
Yeah.
Decided to hide in here for once. Well, the answer is actually -30 years.
Ooh.
This idiosyncratic set of traditions was originally created by Seinfeld writer Dan O'Keefe's father and celebrated as early as 1966. O'Keefe himself wrote it into the episode and thence into the public consciousness.
Oh, it has aged well, that's for sure.
What popular part of Christmas contains thunderbolt and lightning? Very, very frightening.
Galileo?
Come
I had
on,
to catch up
with that coming.
I had to catch up with you.
So I don't know. It's like that song obviously is popularized in the United States, like and there's at least as big a surge in the '90s from the movie Wayne's World. So I'd imagine that there's Wayne's World's become a Christmas movie for some people somewhere. I don't know.
That's delightful. No, I have fooled you slightly. The very, very frightening part is not actually relevant. What's thunderbolt and lightning?
It would be some of the.
What was that, PZ?
Donner and Blitzen.
Yes.
I got one right.
You got one right. Yes, absolutely. Specifically, the reindeer. When The Night Before Christmas originally published as A Visit from St. Nicholas, the last reindeer names were Dunder and Bliksem, Dutch for thunder and lightning. In later printings, the German words Donder and Blitzen were substituted, and that eventually lost the second D to become the usual modern version, Donner and Blitzen. There you go.
Okay, I'll continue my habit of just guessing randomly.
Was that random? That was awfully specific for random.
Well, it was German, so okay.
It was German, so it was probably something being hit with lightning. Gotcha.
Seems to be a recurring theme.
Speaking of Axe's powers, Japan has a way of importing Western ideas and then putting their own splash on them. What does the traditional Japanese Christmas dinner consist of?
Colonel Sanders, Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Yes.
I'm on a roll.
Yes, you are. It was probably the easiest ones, but yes, you're on a roll.
I had no idea. That was one of the few familiar. Sometimes I go on Google Street View tours of other countries, and in Thailand, Kentucky Fried Chicken was one of the few businesses I ran across from that had a recognizable name to it. They literally do KFC for Christmas in Japan. So that's a fact.
Yeah. Turkey is not available in Japan, and when a group of Westerners decided to substitute fried chicken in 1974, the KFC franchises there saw an opportunity and grabbed it. Between aggressive marketing and the simple fact that Christmas does not have many traditions of its own in the 1% Christian country, it was not long before the idea of Christmas equals Kentucky caught on, and now thousands of Japanese families spend every Christmas Eve in the company of Colonel Sanders.
That's wild. I did that one time, sort of. I mean, I was alone for Christmas because the other people in my household had gone off to a family Christmas somewhere else, and I had some reason why I wasn't available for it. I got fried chicken because I didn't have turkey available, and I got that from QFC instead, which is not a fried chicken place, it's a grocery store.
Uh-huh.
I'm just happy someone learned the lesson of Coca-Cola.
I've just learned that there's apparently a grocery store, seemingly with the initials for questionably fried chicken.
It wasn't shabby. It wasn't shabby.
So, speaking of kernels, why was it a good thing that someone doxed Colonel Shoop on Christmas Eve?
Because he forgot to fill out the appropriate paperwork. And, it's got to get done. Because if it's not going to get done on Christmas, who is going to actually fill out the paperwork before New Year? Like, come on. There's no time between Christmas and New Year to actually go into office and get all that paperwork done. No. That is precisely when you should be doxxed.
I think he was doxxed because he was that Turkish cannibal baker guy from the other story.
Not because he deserved it, no.
Can I ask who is Colonel Shoop? I do not know this story at all.
Yep, this is you probably do know the story, although maybe not the name. The gentleman in question is Colonel Harry Shoop, who had been, I don't know if he's in charge of, but if I answer the question about what he was in charge of, it'll give away the rest of it.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to assume
this was a real gentleman, and this happened in 1955.
Okay, well, with a name like Shoop, I'm assuming he's in charge of basketball.
I have to say I don't know. That's not what this is specifically about, but it's. I have no information that specifically contradicts Colonel Shoop's hooping abilities.
Fair enough.
Shoop was a song by Salt and Peppa, which was about how people shouldn't like. Never mind.
Not Shoop de Whoop, no.
Okay, well, it was the mid-1950s, so he had something to do with a bunch of alien bodies discovered in the desert.
I should have predicted that one. No, it's not that. I like that though. That's good.
Oh.
This is connected to an event that you've definitely heard of. This is the origin of something.
1955.
Oh, okay, well, it'd be the origin of Festivus then. For the amateurs in the audience, that's called a callback.
Nope. Doxing is the unsavory practice of publishing someone's personal contact information, address, phone number, etc., without their permission. In 1955, Sears did this accidentally, publishing an ad offering kids the chance to call Santa, but instead the misprinted phone number called Colorado Springs Continental Air Defense Command Center. The commanding officer, Colonel Harry Shoop, ordered that any children who called in should be given a current location for Santa Claus, thus spawning the tradition of CONAD, later NORAD, tracking Santa's progress every Christmas Eve.
Oh.
Which, incidentally, is something they still do to this day, but unsurprisingly, the practice has moved off the radio and onto the web.
Okay. I would have thought a more appropriate response would be to target a Nike missile on these children who are constantly pestering him.
Apparently, there was at least one point in history where military men had souls. Honestly, that's not fair. The soldiers usually do. It tends to be the people in charge of them who don't.
The grunts are fine, usually.
Yes, although you may grump a few people by referring to a colonel as a grunt.
Sure.
Definitely wouldn't.
I don't think they like that.
I've been spoiled. Colonel Sanders has just dropped my entire, my entire opinion of colonels overall.
Well, that's actually a different kind of colonel.
Oh,
yeah.
There's this. I'm not reading from a card now, so this is only half remembered. But if memory serves, there is this concept of a Kentucky colonel, which is like an honor that the governor's office, like the state government of Kentucky, gives out to people, sort of like a little tiny version of a knighthood. So it could be for services to anything. It's not actually a military rank.
Yes,
and Harlan Sanders is not military.
I'm actually a Kentucky colonel myself.
How'd that happen? What did you do for Kentucky?
What? I went down to Kentucky to protest the opening of the Creation Museum. And the governor at that time was not the nitwit they have in office now. And a couple people lobbied to get me an honorary Kentucky colonel membership. So there I was. I have it on a certificate somewhere around here. I really do.
Please publish that on your blog. I would love to see the certificate.
Yeah, we gotta see this. We gotta see your bona fides there.
We believe you. We just want to see it.
Yes, I'll later. I will look. I'll send you a link.
Also, we need a song about this. I mean, come on. You had a story there that started with PZ went down to Kentucky. Come on. There's got to be some sort of adjacency to the devil went down to Georgia for that one.
Oh yeah. Okay. And it's got to be an obscene limerick, right?
Of course.
Of course.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just vaguely hoping Cuttlefish is listening.
PC went down to Kentucky to protest some laws that were funky.
Keep working on it.
Okay, yeah, that's
a good start.
I quit.
Oh.
That's delightful. All right. What once beloved Christmas time tradition was stolen by a mushroom?
I feel like this has to involve Smurfs somehow.
No, Matt. This is the dark side of Princess Peach. My goodness.
Dark side of what?
It's got
the dark side of
Super
Princess
Mario.
Peach.
Yeah.
Nope, nothing to do with Princess Peach.
Wow, I think that was a 2-for-1 alarm. Whew.
This is a legit thing, and I suspect there's a good chance PZ's heard of this. I don't know about the rest of you. He probably has.
Okay, so Rick, get that question one more time here.
What once beloved Christmas tradition was stolen by a mushroom? This is about a real thing that happened.
I'm gonna say that like people drinking eggnog had a problem because they found that some dairy cows ate some mushrooms that poisoned their milk in an area in some point in history.
No, but can we try that?
Yeah, I was going to go someplace else, but Attack of the Killer Mushrooms just doesn't have the same ring as the original, you know?
It was psilocybnog.
No, this is a real thing. There is a real Christmas tradition that stopped because of a mushroom. In fact, it's a Christmas tradition famously still sung about.
Oh, interesting. I would guess maybe getting drunk on Christmas because then everybody just took shrooms instead, but that doesn't quite fit.
Has getting drunk on Christmas stopped, to your knowledge?
Wait, no, never mind.
Okay, I earned those puzzled looks, that's for sure.
I mean, on the other hand, you've also earned lots of guests for your Christmas parties.
Also true.
I'm guessing. So now we have to just think of every Christmas song that ever existed, and and then eventually we'll get to it.
We'll just enumerate each and every single one. That I'm sure that'll work out well.
Okay. So dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh got ruined because somebody like ate mushrooms and like wiped out a bunch of kids. Weather outside being frightful. Wait, no, the part with the never mind. I don't know.
I don't know. I did hear about how hallucinogens were sort of passed around by eating yellow snow. I don't know if that's a Christmas tradition or just a good time in general. So
it's a Frank Zappa song.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Maybe it has something to do with circumcision. I don't know.
What's a circumcision?
They don't say that
hang
for
on,
Christmas.
hang on.
Like,
was circumcision a Christmas tradition in your household?
It was circumcismus.
Only once.
I mean, is that what happens to? Is that what happened to the bad little boys? Instead of a Krampus, you've got the Moil. Like, what's...
Hey, if you're coming from Christianity, it's a natural extension.
That would scare me into being good all year long.
Thought they were trying to remove natural extensions.
No, anyone want to take a run at it? You're getting close. Like, what's quite interesting, the strange thing that Satan was trying to do there would actually get you there pretty quickly.
Okay. Who can think of Christmas songs? That one with the bells, some kind of little drummer boy. Wait, dang it! Now I'm like Edgar Allan Poe's bells in my head.
Mariah Carey, "All I Want for Christmas Is You."
Yeah. There's in the Pacific Northwest, there was this like really treacly song somebody came up with in the late 80s, early 90s. It was like Christmas in the Northwest is a gift God wrapped in green. Maybe that's fungus adjacent. I don't know.
I would say that's ganja adjacent, but
I don't know how many more clues I can possibly give you. It's a famous line starting off a well-known Christmas song, and it's something that a biologist would know about.
I can't not think of any Christmas songs, and that's probably a good thing.
And I think mistletoe is made of toes, so that kind of rules it out. I was going for a toe fungus thing, and it didn't quite land. Sorry.
Wait, mushrooms just don't seem like a popular theme in Christmas music.
They're not. The tradition that was stopped by mushrooms was a popular theme. Because that's what we're asking for, remember? What was the tradition that got ended by a mushroom?
Okay, since I've got nothing, I'm just going to say Christmas skateboarding. There we go.
All right. I'll stop trying to drag that one out. Roasting chestnuts. First line, chestnuts roasting on an open fire. We've all heard references to this, so it's unlikely that any of us have done it. And the reason is, once upon a time, the arrival of chestnut season was a major wintertime joy in the USA. But in 1904, an imported Asian chestnut tree unleashed a fungal blight that by 1920 had destroyed pretty much the entire growth of adult American chestnut trees, and to this day prevents new ones from reaching adulthood. The chestnuts we get today are completely different, not at all like the smaller sweet ones that folks used to roast.
See, I actually have roasted chestnuts, but A, obviously they're the inferior ones, and B, as like a 7 or 8 year old, I didn't really exactly care to sort of sit there and wait for the dang things to finish. So
once upon a time, it was easier to do and a nicer nut, but all of the trees of the type that the tradition came from, they're dead.
Goodness.
Killed by an Asian mushroom.
Man, stop Asian hate, that's for sure.
What do you do if strangely clad people demand you bell snickle?
I would give him a Mickey.
What was that word again?
That word's the interesting bit of this question. Bell snickle.
I'd put
this is 100% a Christmas thing.
I'll put 5 of them out in the trestle.
there was a I'm just thinking about groups of strangers being very demanding, and it just makes me think of that We Wish You a Merry Christmas. There's some rather demanding portions of that song. Of course, we've moved on from Christmas songs. Bell Snickle. I'm going to go ahead and tie it into that song anyways. If a group of strangers is demanding that you bell snickle, if they're demanding that you produce figgy pudding on the spot.
It's interesting.
Good guess.
It's not
Good
right,
guess.
but it's not entirely unconnected.
Certainly not the wackest idea I've ever heard.
There's no penalties for whackness.
Nope. No. We want to encourage you to be strange.
Like that needs encouragement. Okay.
It helps, more strange, more entertaining.
Indeed. Little Snickles, huh? All right, well, I would say give them a bear banger, perhaps. Since, Bell Snickles are not going to do anything to keep bears away, that's for sure. They just think they're birds and don't really sort of recognize that it's actually anything related to humans in any way, shape, or form. So, bear spray or bear bangers would actually be perfect.
No, but it's interesting that there was a piece buried in that was headed in the right direction.
Fascinating. Because I could share the joke about how you tell the difference between black bear and grizzly bears. If you look inside black bear poop, you see fruit and all that. If you look inside grizzly bear poop, you see bell snickles.
I swear, I am just totally lost.
Nope, this is a real thing. It's not a common tradition now, but it is absolutely about bell-snickling, I think. Although probably not usually said in English quite that way. But nope, this is a verb. It's a real thing.
Okay,
Nice.
wild guess here. Bell is it's a polite way of saying testicle, and snickles is tickle. So
We left the Santa's balls thing way a while
yes,
ago.
but I keep coming back to it.
Okay, well,
That's clearly got something to do with a little reach around and a tickle.
see, you're saying if people demand you bell snickle, you get aroused?
Not
Tickle
necessarily.
balls a little.
Only if you're into that sort of thing.
True. I am specifying, going along with it. No,
That's my guess.
no, it's not a sex act.
Oh,
Probably be
Well,
made a
if you're-
sex act.
If you're going along with it, you dress up, disguising yourself in furs and ill-fitting clothing, then go visit your neighbors and challenge them to figure out who you are. Named for a distinctive variant of Saint Nick, the word is made from pelts, fur, and Nicholas from Pennsylvania Dutch communities. It's pretty rare anywhere today, but under the name mummering is experiencing a bit of a return in Newfoundland.
Mummering.
Mummers.
See,
Mummers
that's why I didn't use that word. You would have known what I was talking about.
yeah. Okay.
Mummers freak me out. I just recently found out about mummers. And there was like somebody image set going around to people in different kind of mummer costumes from Europe, and some of them were quite abstract. There were traditionally like it's like plays that were put on kind of like not necessarily peasants or lower class people or whatever that travel around and get up to no good, and they had traditional characters, like Punch and Judy and whatnot. And there was like that's where the Harlequin came from, is from that kind of thing, which has more of a Southern European feel to it. But like I saw these images on the internet that were doing the rounds of some Eastern European mummers, and they were like, the outfits looked like, I don't know, something out of a Julie Taymor play. And I'm just like thinking like, I don't know, it's just like, who are these guys that are doing this? Is this like something that hillbillies are doing for fun there? Or is it like, I don't know. It's just kind of funny to imagine like a cultural context is something you're just seeing from outer space like that.
Not a lot that people do that makes sense if you're just seeing it from outer space. So,
The flute.
Speaking of doesn't make sense, if a dad shoves a clock in a burlap sack and demands to be sat on, what is he really doing?
These are some weird traditions you keep bringing up here.
Yeah. Here we don't sit on.
That one might be the weirdest, but yeah. Oh, no, it's not the weirdest.
Okay. Oh, important correction. Good.
In my opinion, anyway.
I was thinking it would be stood on, but no, it's got to be sitting, huh?
Yeah, and demands that people sit on him, not on the clock.
What?
Clock in a burlap sack. Dad shoves a clock in a burlap sack and demands that other people sit on him. What's going on there?
Makes me think of Hop on Pop, and then it gets that whole Berenstain universe paradox. Very complicated issues you raise.
Right, indeed. Oh, the philosophy behind Dr. Seuss is deep and rich, full of lore, which I'm sure is which goes back centuries within Christmas tradition.
Maybe he wants somebody to clean his clock.
I won't drag this one out too much. If you don't know the origin of this, it's pretty much doomed just trying to guess it. Celebrating Festivus. The Festivus pole was one of the few traditions introduced by the Seinfeld episode. In the original 30 years previous version, instead, the elder O'Keefe would stick a clock in a sack and nail it to the wall. When asked why, his response was always, "That's not for you to know." And as far as demanding to be sat on, wrestling, feats of strength, that's just part of Festivus.
Okay.
Indeed.
Yeah.
All right. In hindsight, that makes a lot more sense.
Well,
especially
it makes
the
no
clock.
sense whatsoever, but it makes sense that the no sense is attached to the nonsensical thing.
Right.
So as you've observed, there are a lot of strange and esoteric traditions surrounding wintertime festivals, so let's finish off with a few of those. Where are you if the winter festival involves drunk rich people in tasteless clothing scooping food?
New York.
Connecticut.
Isn't that everywhere? Oh.
No. Nope, not just anywhere.
I was
Boris
100% sure.
Johnson's cabinet.
Here's the thing. Somebody answered this one earlier.
Fascinating. Okay, well, then it's got to be Jason Kinney's cabinet. Sorry, Canadian joke.
Yes, we have our own little Boris Johnsonoid. Actually, a couple of them. That sucks.
Nope. Just totally stumped.
All right, what if I tell you, pretty sure it was HJ mentioned the correct answer to this earlier.
Well, tell us, HJ.
I will. It's just
Don't
I'm
keep it
dragging
away
it
from
out
us.
for drama,
Oh, okay.
Completely dragging it out for that reason, not because I totally forgot, Hopefully it came through. Okay, yeah.
Yes, of course. The ancient festival of...
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
Exactly.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. See. I do. That would help clarify things just a little bit more.
The answer is ancient Rome during Saturnalia.
Ah,
Masters wore colorful Greek dinner clothing instead of the usual togas, which was considered something you couldn't do during the day or any other time. And as part of the general role reversal theme of the festival, served dinner to the slaves. And all the while, basically everyone involved in Saturnalia were drunk out of their trees.
I guess when in doubt, guess Saturnalia. That's the thing there.
Yeah.
Not anymore. No more Saturnalia.
What? Oh, but that was my next guess.
Well, I
Come
don't mean
on.
in general. You can bring back the festival if you want. I just mean there's no more in these questions.
Oh.
Go ahead. Start it again.
Okay,
I'm
there
here
we-
for that.
This is a victory because we've just narrowed the domain of possible answers so much.
Exactly.
The rest of this is going to be easy.
I think it's probably about 2 chances in 3. One of you will know the answer to this one. Where are you if there is an undead horse roaming the streets that can only be kept out of the house with a freestyle rap battle?
Not Saturnalia.
Nope, absolutely nothing to do with Saturnalia.
I know, that's what I said.
Technically right, not okay.
Okay, this is really frustrating because I swear I have absolutely heard the answer to this one at some point within the last couple of years. Did not bother to remember it though, apparently.
Probably. Interestingly, although this question is older than that, there's been memes about this in the last couple of years. Yeah, you've probably seen it.
Yeah, I was going to guess Hermitcraft, since Minecraft has their skeleton horses, and I'm sure they've got all sorts of weird, wacky traditions on there. So.
Oh wait, isn't that an English tradition or Welsh or something like that?
Oh, go on.
Go on. I can't go on much further because I don't know much.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
It was somewhere in the British Isles.
I'm gonna give it to PZ because he did actually say the correct answer. Wales. The Mary Lloyd, Holy Mary, is a real Welsh New Year's tradition in which revelers dressed as the dead, their leader in a horse skull, travel from house to house and sing a traditional song, at the end of which the occupants and the dead exchange challenges and insults in rhyme. The challenge continues until someone gives up. And if the dead win, they have to be allowed inside for drinks and treats.
Wow.
Right.
Well, now I know where you got the idea for this show. My goodness.
Which, frankly, that's cool. I mean, come on. That's way better than most of what we got over here.
Where can I get a horse skull? Yeah, because we should bring that tradition to the United States.
I'm legitimately surprised you don't have one already.
Well, I mean, prairies, we should have them just lying around everywhere.
Yeah.
Where are you if the family is severely beating a happy little log and ordering it not to crap out fish?
Oh, that's got to be Sweden. That sounds entirely Swedish.
Sweden.
It's not Sweden. It's not Scandinavian at all.
Oh.
Japan.
I appreciate this. Is interesting because now I'm learning what's the pop culture notion of which countries do the weirdest stuff.
Well, we're surely just thinking of Swedish fish, the candies.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that where they get Swedish fish from?
For that.
What was that, HJ?
Isn't that where they get Swedish fish from? Is beating a log?
I'm not familiar with the production method. Probably not, but this is not about Sweden.
Okay, all right. No Swedens. Because the other thing I would think would be like lumberjacks in rural Canada or something like that. But that's not really like a country per se. Although they might think of themselves as a country unto themselves, I guess, at some points.
Well, I mean, technically speaking, I didn't ask for a country as a response, although I'd probably accept one. But no, it's not Canada either.
Okay. All right. Well, if it's not Sweden or Canada or Japan, that's all the places on the globe. I'm confused.
Yeah. We've covered everything.
And as far as things that are beaten with the possibility of the production of contents, that would clearly evoke like Mexico, but with piñatas. But well, I don't know.
No, not Mexico. No, but this is a real thing, and the location isn't strange. I mean, arguably this behavior at the location is strange, but it's not like this is a weird island you haven't heard of. You have definitely heard of the place where this happens.
Okay, Isle of Man?
I've heard of Trinidad and Tobago, so that doesn't narrow it down at all.
Maybe we've heard of every place, so that's even worse. That didn't help me at all.
Every place except Saturnalia.
Well, that's an event. The place was Rome. Pretty sure everyone heard of that.
Indeed, there's a video game about it.
I'm going to guess Dinosaur Adventureland in Lenox, Alabama.
Well, it's not anywhere in the United States.
Okay, so we've just ruled out Japan, and we've ruled out Scandinavia, and we've ruled out the United States and Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, where else is there?
Estonia. Estonia. That's it. I'm not guessing anymore.
Okay. The answer is Aragon or Catalonia in Spain.
Oh, that was my next guess.
Bullshit. The Tio de Nadal is a log, usually decorated with legs, a happy little face, and a hat, which is fed offerings of food from the day of the Immaculate Conception, December 8th, until Christmas Eve. Then the family places it on the fireplace and take turns singing the traditional song, Caga Tio, literally shit log, and beating it with a stick, then removing from under it and its little blanket some small gift or treat. When all the gifts are done, the last thing to pull out is a salt herring, onion, garlic, or a peed bowl of water, signifying that the log has already crapped out everything good it had to give.
The shit
Real
log
thing.
shits treats.
Okay.
Cool. All right.
Real thing, and
I-
I'm pretty sure we've all heard of Spain.
Yeah, and
I don't know.
isn't
what
it
Spain is. I'm sorry.
Catalonia that has that tradition of the little figurines of people pooping?
I don't know, but it certainly sounds like it would be consistent.
Yeah.
Shit.
Okay.
Japan's like way too involved in like images of characters defecating. But yeah, I don't remember anything specific.
I think was that an anecdote, or was that like a traumatic flashback?
So when
Japan's way too into people defecating, but I don't remember anything specific.
I remember, okay, so I wouldn't understand anything specific because I don't read Japanese. But it was in the 90s when I first got into anime. Somebody was like, "Hey, check out this here book of comics from Japan," and like in there's like random comic about like small children flying around spelling out words with their feces and stuff like that. And it's just like, whenever you're exposed to anime, stuff like that comes up from time to time, and you'd be like, I don't get this and I don't like it, but that's all right. I'm not Japanese.
I have questions about the sources from which you are getting your anime if you think that comes up all the time.
I'm sure it's been in a Miyazaki film at some point.
Moving on. And finally, where are you if everyone is wearing fresh clothes to ward off the murderous pet of pot scraper, window peeper, and meat hook?
Yes. Gotta be a high crime area. So I'm gonna guess Sweden.
Not Sweden, no. But to be fair, that guess is a lot closer than it was last time.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard of the tradition of you have to get new clothes for the new year, but pot scraper and meat hook and no, yep. I'm lost there.
Finished.
Those are names.
Are they
what was that, Satan?
Finland.
No, not Finland, but again, you're sort of orbiting in the right direction.
Well, we've just bracketed Norway, so
not Norway.
Iceland?
Yes.
I got it again. All right.
Granted, you got it by elimination. You're just ticking through Scandinavian countries.
It counts. It counts.
It counts. Iceland is odd. Iceland has some of the most disturbing Yule traditions, notably Gryla, the naughty child-eating troll woman, her 13 dwarf-like prankster sons, including Doorway Sniffer, Sausage Swiper, and the above-named 3 weirdos, and their enormous pet Yule cat, which will eat anyone, adult or child, naughty or nice, sparing them only if they have received a piece of new clothing for Christmas.
That sounds like my cat.
Is your cat 5 stories tall?
Got close, somewhere around there.
If it stretches out.
This tradition was invented by department stores.
There sounds like it. Doorway sniffer? I mean, come on, that smells like corporate greed there.
And what's the name of this cat again? Gryla, did you say?
Gryla was the mother, was the naughty child-eating troll woman. I don't know if it has one. I'm not aware of a name for the cat
Cats
other than
are-
just the Yule cat.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, normal cats barely come when you call them. And in this case, you don't want it to come if you call it.
Yeah.
Well, that was it. That is the questions, and we are right on time. So
Very good.
that was pretty good. I haven't really been keeping score exactly because it's not really that meaningful, and I don't have the thing I really need, which is people to adjudicate how funny you were. But I'd have to say, on balance, I think we'd have to say Peasy probably won that because he got 4 right answers, and the rest of you got none.
Fantastic.
And you all got essentially the same amount of klaxons and really funny moments. Satan was a bit funny. Satan had a few extra funny moments, and PZ had a few less funny moments. But you have to admit he's interesting because he knew the right answers.
That's right. But we can still give Satan the prize for most amusing.
Okay,
I'm
C's
not
get
sure what that
degrees.
prize is. I think I'm gonna get like, I don't know,
It-
pack of piano sticks or something.
It's really just us saying, well done, you were funny. And we get to say as well, it's very appropriate, don't you think? That should be somebody who is arguably like Jesus's brother or uncle.
Yeah, I'm anagrammable to Santa, so I should win anything Christmas related.
Very good, the
Uh-huh.
Santagram. Perfect. Well, that is it. We have finished the quiz. We have finished our little game, and I think it was rather nice. I'm hoping people who will watch this later will also find it entertaining and interesting, if not informative in a useful way. So that's Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, and everything else that's happening this year. I hope you will have a good time.
I got that.